Okay, and we are live. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to American Hammers TV. My co-host Irish Tommy is just coming in, and my guest here is Cameron, notorious
Hey guys, how you doing?
from the Liverpool game. Cameron, welcome. How are you?
Not bad, Steve. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Right, what I'm going to do, if it's okay with you, I just need to give the website a quick plug, if I may.
Yep.
AmericanHammers.net. And if people watching go there, they can see the links to the shops for both the American and the UK customers. Prices in dollars for the Americans and pounds for the UK customers. They set it up like that so that we dodged a lot of very expensive shipping costs from the US. Right, what I want to do, Cam, if that's all right with you, have a little chat. And there are a couple of things that the American Hammers like to do when they're interviewing people. We'll talk to you first, and then we'll get into maybe some Knees Up Mother Brown headlines and some Hammers polls. And they have 10 rapid fire questions that we'll close with.
Right.
Just
Okay.
to sort of, it's just to sort of, I don't really know why they do it. But it certainly knocks you sideways a little bit. There's Tommy. Hello.
How are you? Sorry, I lost you there for a second. It was my own fault. I just inadvertently pressed the button that bumped me right back out of the broadcast.
Oh dear. Okay, so Tommy, Cameron, Tommy.
Cameron, how are you, buddy? Good to see you.
You too, Irish. Tom, how you doing?
Not too bad. Listen, thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it. We were all very eager to have a chat with you and see how you feel about everything that's gone on these last couple of weeks. So, we're really delighted you were able to make it.
No, that's fine. Thanks for having me.
So, Cameron, tell us, how and why are you a West Ham fan?
I'm a West Ham fan just because that's how I grew up.
Right.
Went over there from the age of 2 with my dad, and haven't looked back since. Had a season ticket ever since then, all the way from Upton Park through till now. And we are where we are now.
Yeah, I think that's how most of the Brits do it, isn't it? I know
a lot of it is handed down. Your family, it's a family link to a club, which I think is lovely. It's nice to be kind of born into it, isn't it? And you have that history of, maybe your grandfather even or whatever went to games and would tell you about games back in the day. Your dad would tell you about games back when he was young and going. So I think it's nice when you're kind of born into it that way. I wasn't. I'm not lucky enough to have been born in, but I adopted the club. But yeah, it's always nice when you hear stories of people born into it.
Are you from the East End, Cam?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Beckton, and not far from the ground at all, about 3 miles out from Upton Park, if that.
Fantastic.
And then, used to have a ritual where we went to my nan's in East Ham, walk to the ground from there. Sometimes we'd walk from mine. But yeah, it was a good routine we had going. But yeah, it's a bit different now.
Yeah, indeed, isn't it?
Yeah,
more like a route march every Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah,
we haven't really got our own routine at the moment.
Yeah, because that goes back a long, long way. Was it 1903, something like that? We moved in to the bowling ground or something like that, and so there's just so much history, so much tradition of, because obviously going to games isn't just taking your seat and watching the game and then going home. People had rituals around going to games. They might go to Nathan's, get a pie or get some jelly deals or whatever it is they're into. They might have the pub that they would always go to, the Queen's or the bowling or what have you, and they'd meet up with their buddies, and it was a whole kind of full day experience really, and when suddenly it's a huge adjustment and people are very slow to take to Stratford, I think, and not just because of the stadium itself and whatever shortcomings that might have, but I think just the area just doesn't feel the same.
No, no, and people are starting to develop their match day rituals, aren't they? I mean, I know I am certainly this season. We're finally sort of settling into a routine.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of got a routine at the moment, but even now, we don't really know the quickest way to get there, whether it's by bus, train, car, don't know where to park, don't know what station to get out at. Like, it's different every single game.
Yeah.
I mean, we started going to the Golden Grove, have a bit of breakfast, then sort of do like a bit of a pub crawl down the Queen's Head, work our way round to the Carpenters, and then in from there. But that's probably the only routine we've got going at the moment. But again, it just changes. Like, it's also different. But
Yep.
It is what it is now. And yeah, I mean, it's not so bad now in terms of like, I've met new people there. I don't really sit with the people that I used to. So again, I've met some great people over there. But yeah, it's very different in terms of match day experience. I'll give them that one.
Mm.
Have you been on the boats, Cameron, at all?
The what? Sorry, Tom.
You've been on the boats at all yet?
Not the ones that go round Stratford, like round the stadium, but we do like there's an away one that we do to Fulham if they're in the league. Do one to Chelsea away, and we do one on the last home game of the season up and down the Thames, which is quite good. But yeah, I've never done the ones in like in and around the Olympic Park.
I've only ever done Gio Gonzo's Hammer Chats boat.
Yeah, no, I haven't done that one. So
I'll tell you what, that's quite a good laugh down there. It's a great atmosphere.
Yeah, no.
And if you got Litlands with you, it's very family friendly down there as well.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can hear them like as you're sort of walking over the bridge or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I've never been on one of them. It's just like the ones we usually do on a Chelsea away game or last home game of the season up and down the Thames.
Cool. So, Cameron, the whole reason for asking you on today, and you very graciously agreed to come on to talk about your little protest when you was flag bearer for the Liverpool game. Tell us a little bit about it. How did that come about? I mean, do you have to apply to be a flag bearer? Is it like a lottery or what?
So basically, it's quite a long story in the way it started. So there's a steward who always sort of harasses us as we come into the stadium because me and my dad are the ones behind the Brady out flag, which you might have seen on his gate, on Sullivan's gates, and in and around the Olympic Park sometimes. And so they've said to us, if it comes into the stadium, we'll get a ban. So we haven't brought it in because obviously, I mean, I think it's a silly sort of ban to cop. But yeah, anyway, so we listen to him. We don't bring it in. But the steward, he always asks us the same question every time. Have you got the flag? And it gets really repetitive. Anyway, so he was saying that they had a debrief once and that he was actually standing up for us and said that we're one step ahead of the guys, that if we was to do something that they probably wouldn't be able to realise what we're doing until it actually happened. So yeah, it kind of put a thought into my head saying, yeah, we are actually one step ahead. And I just wanted to be a little bit clever and create a bit of an awareness for people who, I don't know, might not really know about the situation and try and get the ball rolling a bit more. So, yeah, I just applied to be a flag bearer, sent a couple of emails to customer, support services, and it was sorted within about 2 days. So it was a really quick process. So, and that was that.
So presumably the plan all along was that if you could get your place as a flag bearer, that you were going to wear this T-shirt inside the ground. That was the whole point of you presumably applying in the first place.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I even said to my dad and a couple of people who were sitting next to me, I went, "This is what I want to do for the next game." So it was a couple of games time, but yeah, this is what I want to do, and yeah, this is the plan. And there was a few hiccups along the way. They were actually giving out charity shirts, so anyone who was actually there for the game or see the flag bearers would have seen that everyone was wearing like these charity shirts. But luckily, they was all a large and they didn't have any double XLs. So I managed to get away with that one. And the plan continued. So
So it was a serious plan then. It wasn't like a dare or a bet or just doing it for a laugh.
No, I mean, I didn't think it'd get this much attention.
Yeah.
I thought it would just be a couple of days on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. But yeah, it seemed to spread around like wildfire. Media picked up on it, which I mean is great, really. Even they're getting in on the act now. They're spreading awareness, which helps a lot. So yeah, like I said, I didn't expect it to go this far, but it has, and yeah. But no, it wasn't a dare or nothing. It was just me, and just the way my stupid mind works sometimes.
Did you get any reaction from somebody at the time inside the ground? You know, maybe after you had revealed the T-shirt. Obviously, we know what happened in the aftermath, but actually on the day, you know, when you're finished your flag waving and you're kind of heading back to wherever your seat or wherever you're going, did anyone say anything to you at the time about it?
Well, I tried to get it where I was doing the flag bearing in front of the block that I actually sit in. So like my dad could get pictures and obviously send them round. And it was only until I sort of was walking off that the picture was taken, and then a couple of people in the front row realised what I was doing. But other than that, nothing. I don't even think no one saw it, to be honest, apart from a couple of people in the front row, which wasn't really the idea. If people see it, they did. But the main reason was a photo opportunity to do that and then just send it round. And then I knew they'd see it. I knew the owners would see it at some point, whether Jack Sullivan showed his dad or whatever. But I knew it would get to him. And yeah, so that was the main reason, just for a photo opportunity.
Yeah, but none of the stewards saw it or gave you any hassle on the ground?
No, nothing
That's
at all.
Fantastic.
And I went through the same security checks as I would on a match day anyway. Like I had to go through them same security checks. I mean, I had a jumper on underneath my jacket, but I undone my jacket. They didn't ask me to undo my jumper, so like more fool them. Like they didn't see it.
Indeed,
so.
Yeah. Because when I went through, I think it was actually the Liverpool game. I got really stroppy with the steward because he asked me to open my jacket, which I did, and I had a scarf on as well, and he wanted me to lift my scarf. But I had 3 layers on underneath that as well, and I said to him, "Do you even know what you're looking for?"
Yeah, they don't have a clue.
He just kind of shrugged and said, "I've been told to look."
Yeah, I think what it is most of them have. I mean, fair enough, it's their job, but most of them have just come out of college. They really don't know what they're doing. They're just doing everything via a rule book.
Yeah,
and they don't know the way football works. Like, I mean, you treat us with respect, we treat you with respect. That's the main sort of rule in life anyway, not just football. But yeah, I mean, they sort of treat you like kids, and like they're only 18, 19 anyway. And they talk to you as, like, I mean, I'm not much older than them, but like a lot of the older guys, like, it's just the way they get spoken to sometimes is just a joke. The way they treat them is a joke. And just in terms of the overall stewarding, I think is so inconsistent there. And like you said, they don't really know what they're looking for.
Yeah, I suppose that's another one of the big differences, I suppose, from Upton Park. You know, the stewarding has been a major issue ever since our first game at the stadium. You know, people were used to Upton Park. They knew the stewards. They had some kind of a relationship with the stewards, where everyone knew what was what. But as soon as they moved to the Stratford, it was they were stopping people from standing up chanting, for crying out loud. You know, and forcing people to sit back down and stuff like this. It was like the people who were stewarding in Stratford clearly had no clue how to steward a football game.
No.
And it's obviously still to this day an ongoing issue with the stewarding.
Yeah. Kent Hammers has made a good point. If I can get it up, look, he bonked that on there just as I was about to click the Kent Hammers one there. They're event stewards, they're not football stewards.
Yeah, and I mean,
a football crowd is a completely different animal to any other kind of crowd, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, just to add on to that, I mean, my girlfriend, she went to one of the concerts there. I can't remember which one it was, but there was a concert at the stadium. And I mean, like, I dropped her off there and everything, and it was great. I mean, you could actually walk in and out of Westfield as you please, not being herded around like sheep. And like, again, like you just said, the security is complete. Like, it's their event stewards. Like, it's a great stadium for again, anything but football. And again, I was there for the baseball because I thought, you know what, big baseball game. Never seen a baseball game in my life. Thought I'd try it out, and it's on my doorstep, so why not? And I mean, again, it was just completely different in terms of like security and everything. I mean, again, you could walk in and out of Westfield as you pleased, and it's so different compared to how they treat us over there.
Yeah. Indeed.
So, obviously, on the day, everything went smoothly for you. You know, you got in there with your T-shirt on, got your photos taken, and like you say, you thought it was going to be just, you know, get a little bit of traction on social media for a couple of days and kind of blow over again, not be that much of a big deal. But then I think what actually blew the whole thing completely up out of proportion was the club's response to you wearing it on the pitch. And, you know, it's another instance of the club kind of shooting themselves in the foot. You know, they just don't know when to stop. They always seem to do the wrong thing. It blows up in their face. And I think this is the case with your protest. And so when did you kind of first realize, okay, this thing is actually blowing up now, way bigger and becoming viral?
Well, I think after the game, I think it was a couple of days, and then my phone sort of died down a little bit in terms of like notifications on Twitter and stuff.
I bet your phone went mad, didn't it?
Yeah, honestly, it just wouldn't stop going. And then it was just, it come to the Brighton game, and it sort of all blew over a little bit. Like, everyone had forgot about it. I mean, a couple of texts here and there, but nothing too out of the ordinary. And then I think it might have been on the Tuesday, I then got the letter through the post, and I'm just thinking, like, how pathetic. Like, out of all the things, like, I think just purely because it is me, and it's like, the second time I've sort of done something like this to him now. The first one being Sullivan's front gates.
Do you think they made the connection?
Yeah, 100%.
They definitely knew it was you on both occasions, yeah?
Yeah, 100%. So, I think it was a couple of hours after doing that one on Sullivan's gates.
Yeah.
My dad actually got a call, and it was like, "What's your flag? What was your flag doing in front of his house?" Yeah. And then obviously, like, they just sort of made the connection, and they banned both of us that time, but they overturned it that evening, and I got a call from Jack Sullivan, who sounded like he was being told what to say by either his dad or someone else.
Yeah.
But yeah, that ban was overturned pretty quickly, but this one just seems to be longing out a little bit, which I think they're just trying to long it out to the end of the season, but I won't let that happen.
So just for sorry, Steve.
That's right. Can we go on?
So just for any viewers, just maybe that aren't clued in on all the details of this, can you just quickly explain what happened as regards the club's response to your protest on the pitch and how your ban came about, please?
Yeah. So again, it was literally about 6 days later, and they sent me a letter which I got through the post, and that was it really. And then it just said I was banned for. I think I've got it here actually. Let me read the exact words of what they banned me for being. Where is it? 1.2, or this is regulation 1.2, whose presence within the ground is or could, in the operator's reasonable opinion, constitute a source of danger, nuisance, or an annoyance to any other person. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, your dad posted the picture of that, didn't he, on Twitter? Because I actually read the letter, and I chuckled then like I did just now, because nothing. I don't think you annoyed anybody. Certainly in the crowd.
I mean, if I wore a Pro Ball T-shirt, that might have annoyed people.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
No, I said to a couple of people, like, being annoyed, that's an emotion you get at football. If we was to concede a last-minute goal and like we'd end up losing 1-0, I'd be annoyed. So what are we going to do? Ban that striker on the pitch who's just scored a goal to make me annoyed? Yeah. It's a pretty broad statement to make.
Yeah, I mean, it's a catch-all kind of term, isn't it? You can do anything with that excuse. You can use those terms to justify anything. And, you know, it's all rubbish, let's be honest. And frankly, I would say that Golden Sullivan being sat in the director's box during games is probably more of an annoyance.
Indeed.
And having away supporters getting tickets for the home ends and sitting down among West Ham fans like Liverpool fans did for our home game against them, that's far more of an annoyance or likely to cause problems.
Yeah, I had a run-in with a Liverpool fan up in the stands. He was in our end in his Liverpool shirt, and he was jumping up and down when Liverpool's second goal went in.
It was the same with me at the start of the season. We had a mum and a little boy. He had a Man City kit on, and I just said, you might want to cover it up. I mean, if it was sort of an adult or something, I would have just said, mate, look, get out. But I thought, it's a mum and his kid, or her kid. I can't really do much. So I sort of let it go, and I was like, I think they celebrated the last 2 goals. So I went and told the steward because they didn't do nothing. And it got to the end of the game, and she was down by the front with her kid, and the steward actually escorted her down around the pitch and down the tunnel. Like, that's a weird way of ejecting someone from the crowd.
Funny, isn't it? Yeah.
But if that was like
bizarre.
Me causing a bit of trouble,
I
would
totally
have just
agree.
been out, and my season ticket would have been taken away from me there and then.
Yeah.
So going forward, Cameron.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, Tommy.
No, I was just wondering, just for clarity, how long exactly have they banned you for?
Till the end of the season. So yeah, just till the end of the season. But I mean, it's not really the home games I'm annoyed about. It's more the away games, because I mean, I can go to the away games, but on somebody else's ticket. But in terms of me buying a ticket, obviously we all know that the priority points are an important part of getting tickets. And I mean, if I'm missing out on a few of them, then yeah, I mean, I've been going home and away for literally since I was knee height. So I mean, for me to then drop a few points and then I'll miss a couple of games here and there next season because I might not be able to get a ticket. That'll probably be the more annoying thing. But again, they probably know all that sort of stuff.
So did they offer you any chance of appeal or anything like that?
Yeah, so I appealed, but it was quite laughable really, because they said they didn't say who to appeal to, so not to direct a letter to anyone. All they put me forward to, like, they gave me an email, and it was like a customer service one for the London Stadium. So it weren't even West Ham. So by the looks of things, it looks like it was the London Stadium who actually banned me under their like sort of word. But yeah, they're making it really awkward for me to appeal. So I actually went down there the other day to do a bit of filming for joe.co.uk. I don't know if any of you know about them.
Yep, I know Joe.
Heard of them, yeah.
But yeah, that should be coming out early this week or early this coming week before the City game.
They actually started off here in Ireland.
Yeah,
they started off as joe.ie, yeah, and I followed them, and then the UK one when they started up over there. So I'm well aware of Joe, yeah.
So yeah, that should be coming out this coming week before the City game. But yeah, I was doing filming on the Olympic Park for that, and I had a hard copy of my letter because I hadn't heard nothing back. So I actually went there and I talked to one of the blokes who signed the letter, and so he was just sort of a bit shocked that I went there, but the response is taking too long. So I'm just trying to get the ball rolling a little bit, but they know what they're doing. So
you're okay talking about going forward with it. I mean, you're not going to sort of jeopardise anything, are you, by letting us know where you're going and what your plans are for the rest of the season?
No, I mean, like I said, I rang them because there's a lot of things in there which I couldn't even make clear in the letter. I even had to. It said like a seasonal ban. Again, that could mean from the first game to the last, or it could mean from obviously now to the end of the season, which it is. So again, that was something I had to make clear. So I rang, and I had a couple of other questions, and it's just that I think the bloke who actually I was on the phone to, I don't want to say names, but yeah, he just seems to be a steward, but he wears a suit. Do you know what I mean? It's just anything that's said by Gold, because he's sort of like one under Gold, Sullivan and Brady. And just anything they say, obviously, he's just got to sort of go, yep, no problem. So he knows it's wrong. He knows it's like there's nothing they can really do, but yeah, so... but nothing.
It's
Nothing that I saw.
it's very petty, really. There was no need to do it. You didn't cause any disturbances. You didn't cause any hassle or trouble. You went back to your seat, watched the game, and went home. Common sense or somebody. You just wondered. There must be nobody there who will actually say anything to Gold and Sullivan. Who'll say, "Listen, just let it lie. It'll blow over in a couple of days. It won't be a big deal, really." But if you go banning people and stuff, and it'll blow up. And there doesn't seem to be anyone there to advise them to stop doing stupid things, because they just keep doing stupid thing after stupid thing.
Yeah. And even if they just sent you a letter, Cam, and said, we've seen the pictures.
Just like a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, you've had your day. Don't be a tosser. Don't do it again. You would have said, okay, job done, wouldn't you?
That's half what I was expecting, Steve. And to then see that it had gone into a ban, I thought, are they really this stupid? Because then again, like I said, it blew over by the Brighton game, and then come Tuesday, it all blown up again. And now it's probably as big, in my opinion, it's probably as big as it's ever been now. Like, momentum is really strong. And I'm not playing my own trumpet, but I'm just saying everyone is playing their part. There's loads of different sort of groups. Like, you've got the people who made the beer mats. Like, it's just a little small things like the stickers, just every little thing, just something to raise awareness. And like I said, everyone's doing their part. And the momentum seems to be stronger than ever at the moment, which is quite cool.
Well, it certainly does seem to be. Did you see on Twitter, was it yesterday, I think, there was someone posted a picture of a couple of stickers by the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, really? I haven't seen that, actually, so
it was fantastic.
Dig them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one at the boxing last week as well.
Yeah, that was good.
One of the cornermen. Yeah, so it's gaining momentum for sure. The whole GSB out thing.
Yeah. Sorry, forgive me a sec here, guys, but I've got a poxy throat going.
Yeah, you're fine. So let's talk about. I mean, obviously we know you protested. We know what happened in the aftermath of that, Cameron. But what made you feel so strongly that you felt you had to do that?
So I've had it a lot in the ear hole from other fans, not West Ham fans. Some fickle West Ham fans actually, but yeah, mainly from other clubs, just saying, "Oh, it seems to be results based," which it really isn't. It's just the lies, and it's just lies after lies. And I mean, I started back in what 2 years ago. I think that's when I done it, like the first sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought I've had enough. Like, there's the way they left it so late in the January window. Like, would they have signed anyone in the window if all the momentum started to pick up again? Like, it's just little things like that. If they really cared, why did they wait 3 weeks to get two people in? Like, we were struggling so bad, and this world class team in a world class stadium, like, I just can't be dealing with that. Where I was actually doing that, I've seen it before, but to see it close up, when I was doing the flag bearing, the scaffolding is a joke. Mm-hmm. Like, it literally, it's like Gillingham away. There's both scaffolding. There's no hiding it. There's no sugarcoating it. It's both scaffolding. What's different to their stand compared to ours? Except our one has a glass roof, which they seem to be so happy about.
I'll tell you what. Have you done the stadium tour?
Yeah, I did on the first ever, on our first ever season. A few weeks into that season, I'd done it, and for the Juventus game when they come, and the game before that in the who was it? The first ever game there, won 3-0, I think it was, and in the Europa League qualifier, and it seemed a bit bland, but obviously you're excited, like, you think, oh wow, like this is the next level for us. Like, where can we go from here? Let's build on this. And then obviously it just started to fizzle out straight away. Like, the honeymoon period, like, it was gone with so quickly. And I just think the stadium tour, again, going back to that, it was great. Again, but you can see the bits where the walls in the tunnel and stuff like that. If you look above that, you can see London Stadium things and bits of plasterboard and stuff. It's I don't know. It's like that saying, papering over the crack. It literally looks like they're papering over like cracks in there.
Well,
Yeah.
I think
just patched up.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago now. Tim and Gary came over from America for the Liverpool and the Brighton game. And while they were here, I joined them. We went on a tour of the stadium. And the thing that struck me was firstly inside the where the changing rooms and that are. There's still like 100 meters of running track that was there for the Olympics for the athletes to warm up and down on.
Yeah.
But now they've just dumped like some exercise machines and some couple of exercise bikes on there. And that's sort of just like, just a sort of warming up sort of area. And then you go up to the corporate seats, which are all nice and soft and thick and leather and padded and everything. And they've got a fantastic view of the whole stadium. But when you look down, they have a view of the whole of the scaffolding, all the Meccano.
I know. It looks great when you're looking out into the main stand. I know.
Yeah.
Like, it looks great when you're looking out to the main stand, like the Billy Bond stand and all that. But if you just tilt your head ever so slightly down, you've got that scaffolding, and then it's covered by claret and blue, tarpaulin, if you will.
And held together with zip ties.
Yeah. Yeah.
The trampolines, we call them.
Yeah, the trampolines.
Yeah. Trampolines. Exactly.
Yeah. But I hear that a lot from people that when they first went into the stadium, a little bit of all, it's a big stadium, and at first glance, it looks very good and all that, and then they're saying that, but over time you just start noticing, one by one, you just start noticing the little things, and there's just more and more and more and more of them, and obviously some of it's the scaffolding and what have you and all that, but more and more you just notice that you're not really in a football stadium that was built for West Ham to play in, and over time it kind of reveals itself for what it really is.
I mean, like, I've seen, the new plans for Liverpool to again extend Anfield and build on top of that. And I mean, it's just something that, there was a few who were pushing for it when the news first come that we might have the Olympic Stadium. And they was like, no, let's build on Upton Park. And they was like adamant that we shouldn't go to the London Stadium. But again, there was a lot, including me, who reluctantly went, oh, no, actually, this might be all right. And again, like, I could probably only apologise to them people who just were adamant on staying at Upton Park. I mean, it goes back to that saying where you don't really realise you miss something until it's gone. And as much as I did want to move to the Olympic Stadium, because again, we were sold a dream. Champions League football is not a guarantee for no one. And so it's definitely not going to be a guarantee for us. But when you hear that the club might start moving in the right direction and pushing for that type of football rather than teetering between mid to like bottom half of the table, you go, yeah, you know what, let's try it. And I certainly did. But again, I want to apologise to all them who sort of said, you know what, let's stay at Upton Park, because it's just ruined us completely.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned about the possible development of Upton Park, because Golden Sullivan, anytime that was brought up, were spinning the yarn that you couldn't do it because of the neighbours and the height restrictions and all this. The neighbours, community groups wouldn't allow it because you can't build up anymore and can't do this, you can't do that. Clearly now that was an absolute total lie. Anyone who's taken a look at the height of them flats that they've built.
Yeah.
I don't know how many floors it is, but the flats are certainly higher than any stadium would have been.
Exactly that, Tom. And I mean, I've been there before, like, since they started building the flats, and that was one of the first things I said. Like, it's twice the size of the Chicken Run, and even if we extended on that, it probably would have been, if not the same height, maybe even a bit lower than what they are now. And it's just, just agreeing with that comment there. We all did get mugged off. Like, honestly, it's embarrassing, really, but more fool us, I guess.
And the thing is, how you mentioned Champions League as well. West Ham fans, we wouldn't really have judged them if we weren't in Champions League yet. You know,
Not at
there
all.
wouldn't be protests if we weren't playing Champions League this season or next season. But all we wanted to see was a well-run club that showed signs of progress and gaining some momentum over time, at least. And you know, even if we were this season and previous seasons, you know, if we were a well-run club and we're pushing this season in the same way that maybe Sheffield United are, if we're doing what Wolves are doing, playing Europa League and still doing well in the Premier League, we'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
You know, they wouldn't even necessarily have to deliver on the whole, you know, competing at the top of the table or qualifying for Champions League. They wouldn't have held their feet to the fire on that one, I don't think.
No, I've got to agree. I mean, like I said, Champions League's no guarantee. It's not a guarantee for like the classic top four. Like, look at Man United now; it's not even a guarantee for them. But yeah, I mean, like, I've got some mates who are Tottenham fans, and I hate to mention it, but you go to their stadium now, Steve, and it's like it was quality. Not just because we won, but like the stadium was unbelievable, and to think that. I mean, they had to go to Wembley for what, a season and a half, 2 seasons, but I'd take that just to be able to. They go to the same pubs. The stadium is where it used to be, like, but they've just made it 10 times better.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're having some teething problems with it, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I would have taken like a redevelopment all day long. So
and that's what Tottenham wanted to do. Obviously, they were trying to get the Olympic Stadium as well, but
so
they had no intention Tottenham had no intention of just renting it like we are. Tottenham wanted to buy it, knock it to the ground, build their own stadium there, and they even offered to build a dedicated athletic stadium in Crystal Palace, where the current, you know where that Crystal Palace athletics track is.
I think they used
Tottenham
to do the Diamond League there or something.
Exactly, yeah. Tottenham offered to build this, purpose-built athletic stadium there for them, but because of the whole legacy thing that the LLDC were so kind of married to, they turned that down, and we got the stadium basically because we were the only ones that were willing to rent it as it was.
Yes. Anyway, Tommy, I think we need to move this along a little bit, don't you?
Crack on, Steve. Yeah.
Before we do, Cameron, just one last question about everything. You mentioned previously about making the video for joe.co.uk. What has been the level of the press interest? Who have you actually sort of spoken to and had interviews with?
So it started off fun. The Sun put something on like one of the back page spreads. That was a big one. And then after the ban come about, it was the Sun again, the Telegraph, the Daily Mail, the Guardian, and that was all in their papers, possibly on the Wednesday or Thursday after the ban come along. And then TalkSport was probably the biggest one. I went on there early morning with Alan Brazil and Ray Parler, and that was probably the biggest one. And even when they put it on Twitter, I got a lot of interest. Like, on top of all the interviews they've done that week, that probably got the most interest out of them all. So I'd probably say, yeah.
You're getting stick and some piss taken out of you from your friends for being like a celebrity.
Yeah, a little bit. And I mean, there's a lot of people, like West Ham fans, going, "Oh, you're a legend" and all that. But I mean, I didn't do it for anything like that. And I mean, obviously, it's a nice thing to hear, but at the end of the day, I'm no legend. It's just I'm doing something what I sort of believe in, what I believe right, standing up just for what I believe in, and just not doing anything in a dangerous way. I've done everything by the rule book, peacefully. So again, no legend, just trying to get the word across, which we're all sort of trying to get out there, really.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've mentioned already you've got some friends who are Tottenham fans, and I'm sure you've got friends who support other teams as well. Have you spoken much to them about this? What's been their take on this whole protesting? Not just your part in it, but the whole thing in general, because over the last while I felt like opposition fans really just didn't get it and didn't really understand why we were so unhappy and why there were protests. Like you said, a lot of people were saying it was because of bad results on the pitch. But I feel like that tide has turned now because of all the media publicity that's been and the light that's been shone now by the media on Gold Sullivan. Have you found that with your friends that they understand a bit more now why we're doing this?
Yeah, I mean, there's one in particular who's a Tottenham fan again, and he goes home and away like I do with West Ham, so he gets it. You can have a chat with him, and he's not fickle. He's very sane. Like, rivalries aside, yeah, I do understand what you're going through, mate. And yeah, it's nice to hear that. But yeah, away from that, even people who were responding to like what TalkSport put up, like in terms of the video, what they done when I went on there, you get a lot of fans. There was a few fans who were going, I don't really get it. Like a lot of Newcastle fans going, oh, well, we think Mike Ashley's worse, blah, blah, blah. And it's just the fact that it's not who's got the worst owners. That's not what I'm coming on here for. It's just sort of trying to get across that the owners that we have ruined our club. If Mike Ashley's not doing a great job for you guys, that's unfortunate too. But again, I think people are slowly starting to see the problems that are within West Ham. And yeah, that's all for me. Like, a lot of my mates were saying, have you got any money out of all this media attention? And I was like, no, but that's not what I'm here for. Like, the attention that the GSB out momentum has got is enough for me. So that's priceless to me. So
yeah, we've even got away fans now at the London Stadium singing "You're Not West Ham Anymore."
Yeah,
all the time. And that's about, like, I mean, we sing it ourselves. Like, I think I was walking back. Sheffield United played at our place when it was 1-1, and we was walking back to the station, and they was next to us, and we were singing it and all. Like, that's how it is now, and like that, them saying that isn't really winding me up. I mean, it's got to the point now. I think we're not like what. Like, I really don't get it. So, just stupidity from other fans. But I mean, it's just the banter you have, really. So it doesn't really bother me.
Indeed. Right, I think we need to do some hammers polls. I think. What do you think?
Yep.
Yeah, sounds good.
If I can just get them up here. Does that come up? Can you see that?
There you go. Yep.
You might have to read it out. I've got it on my phone, so it's so small for me, unfortunately.
Right. Their first one was they Hammers Polls ran a competition. Who was the worst West Ham striker ever?
Right.
And
so that was the final, I assume.
Yeah, it got down to these two. The final two are Savio, and I didn't realise that was his surname, actually. Unsureko, yeah, and Benny McCarthy.
I mean, I'd probably go with Savio just purely because I can actually remember Benny McCarthy playing, and although he was awful, I mean, I didn't really actually I don't remember seeing Savio at all, apart from him going missing after like 7 games. Yeah, so I'm going to have to say that Savio fella.
Yeah, me too. What do you reckon, Tommy?
Yeah, in complete agreement with that. As you say, Benny
Look at that. Well, Benny McCarthy got 60% and Savio got 40%. Yeah, I'm surprised.
Surprised by that. Yeah, because Benny, like Cameron said, Benny at least played some games for us. And he also gets a lot of brownie points with me for calling Karen Brady the devil of tits. So, plus, Savio, like we signed him. Now, none of us knew who the hell this kid was. He was an Italian under-21 striker, apparently. Supposedly, the next big thing. Yeah. We paid a club fee, a club record, £9 million for him at the time. And if you remember, our manager at the time was Gianfranco Zola. So at the time I thought, okay, he has his ear to the ground over in Italy, as regards young up-and-coming players and stuff. But, I mean, he was absolutely dreadful. Barely kicked the ball for us and did absolutely nothing after he left. And I still have a strong suspicion that there was something dodgy about that bloody deal, that Gianfranco Zola got something out of that, because I don't know why you would sign that player for that kind of money, unless there was some maybe Pam's being greased somewhere along the way.
Like Moyes with his Hugill deal.
Like Moyes with Hugo, his brother is Hugo's agent.
Yeah.
He paid $9 million for Hugo. None of us knew Jordan Hugo.
No.
So I think it still goes on, unfortunately, and there's a lot of dodgy transfers, I think, in football.
Yes. Right. So next one, Cameron. Of the 4 clubs currently occupying the foot of the Premier League, who is more likely to survive the drop? Villa, West Ham, Watford, or Norwich?
Currently, you've got to say Watford, just purely because since Nigel Pearson come in, they've just turned the corner. They've picked up a few decent results, and it leaves you wondering where our one's going to come from. Villa were unlucky this afternoon. I thought they was going to get the 3 points halfway during that game. I mean, them teams are playing a lot better football than we are. Again, I didn't watch the game, but I see Liverpool 1-0, and I mean, I don't know if that flattered Norwich last night or whenever it was, but again, I know it's a loss, but it's not a bad result for a Norwich team, and you think they could take some confidence from that.
Yeah.
So again, I mean, as long as we don't get embarrassed on Wednesday night, that might be our turning point. Who knows? But I mean, in terms of that question, I'd probably say Watford.
Right. Okay. Let me click on that for you. Are you in agreement, Tommy?
Yeah, Watford, like I said, since Nigel Pearson came in, they've had that. It might just be new manager bounce. We'll see if it lasts, but
yeah,
I would say Watford. Yeah.
Yeah. Watford.
Norwich are doomed. Yeah.
West Ham 30%, Aston Villa 25%.
That looks about right to me, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's over the only 2. Oh, here we go. Last one at the top. I missed that one.
There.
Yeah. Xande Silva is back from a nightmare injury and played in the Premier League 2 last week and scored. If fit, is he a better proposition than a Jetty as a backup striker? Yes, no, or neither are good enough?
I think it's harsh to say that none of them or then neither of them are good enough. I mean, until you've seen him make his first team debut, you can't really comment. A Jetty at first, I didn't write him off too early, but I didn't think all that. But he's made an appearance in the last couple of games, and he's put himself about, and I think he's all right. He's given a good account of himself.
I think he's got something about him personally.
So like he's winning headers as well. He's a small lad, but he's winning headers against obviously these taller centre backs, stronger centre backs. He's chasing a lost cause all the time, and I just think maybe play him off like Haller or something like that. But I mean, yeah, I'd probably judging by what I've seen, I'd probably say a Jetty. But judging by that poll, I have a feeling it will say Xande Silva just because of that video that come out of him in training the other day.
So
yes, then Tommy.
Yeah, I think it's way too soon for Xande Silva to be replacing Jetty on the bench. He was out for a long time. He's only just back. He needs some games under his belt in the under-23s, and probably a full pre-season under his belt before we even think about having him on the first team bench. Like I say, Jetty has looked lively when he's come on. He hasn't had much game time, so he hasn't really had a chance to prove himself at all. Also, that neither of them are good enough is harsh, because that still remains to be seen. So, no, I wouldn't replace the Jetty with Silva.
Right, so if you're better positioned than a Jetty, you would say no. So you'd both say no, wouldn't you?
Yeah, both say no.
Yeah, but 70% said yes.
Can't understand that.
No.
Again, but that's what I'm saying. They've probably seen that video of him in training the other day, and they've probably gone, you know what? Yeah, he looks sharp, but I could look good in training. Anyone could. But
we've seen a lot of West Ham training videos.
Exactly. All they're doing is probably go like that one of Anderson in pre-season where Noble played the ball over to him. You watch that over, and we could win the league if that happened, but they don't do it on the pitch, so it doesn't matter. And and you can do anything in training, but if you don't do it on the pitch, then what does it matter?
Indeed. Right, Cameron. Whenever American Hammers interview anybody, they hit them with 10 rapid fire questions.
Right.
It's just something that we do to make people feel uncomfortable.
No problem. That's fine.
Are you game?
Yeah, let's go for it.
And you can either just sort of bosh the answer straight out, one word if you want, or you can elaborate. It's entirely up to you.
Let's do it rapid fire. Let's do one answer.
Okay. First question: meat pie or apple pie?
Apple pie.
Really? Cool.
Yeah.
Because I'll have to elaborate. It just says meat pie or apple pie. Apple pie on its own, yeah, but meat pie has to come with everything: the mash, the liquor.
Yeah, that's true.
Meat pie on its own, probably not.
True.
Yeah. Hot apple pie too, with a bit of fresh cream.
Yeah. A lot of Americans say apple pie, and a lot of Brits say meat pie on that one.
Yeah, I thought so, but yeah, it's got to come with mash and liquor.
Yeah,
so.
Definitely. Right, who is your favourite current West Ham player?
Oh God, very tough one, and it's not very rapid fire. I'd have to say Fabianski, or probably Rice. Fabianski or Rice. Let's go Rice.
Okay. Who frustrates you the most in the current West Ham squad?
Probably get some hate for this, but Noble.
Really?
Yeah. Some days he has really good days, but the majority of the times I've seen him, it just seems to be so many off days at the moment. So yeah, again, I think it might upset people, but if he wasn't West Ham, would he be here now? No. What does he offer at the moment? Not much. People say we could use him in times like this, but yeah, there's nothing going on at the moment. We're not excelling from where we are at the moment. So obviously what he's saying isn't really sinking in. So so yeah, but it's not obviously down to him, but yeah, in terms of disappointment, probably Noble, unfortunately.
Would you rather win the FA Cup or finish in the top 4 in the Premier League?
FA Cup all day long.
Okay, that's what nearly everybody says.
No brainer, that one.
I've seen us in the final, and my dad's seen us win it twice, and I've never seen us win a trophy apart from 2 playoff finals, if you can count them. So to see us win a trophy that means something with my dad, who I've been going with, that would just be the cherry on the top.
I think from a fan's point of view, the FA Cup, but I think from the club's point of view, they would prefer a top 4 finish, wouldn't they?
100%. But then you watch, and then an English team will win the Champions League, and we'd miss out on that 4th spot because the winners have bloody got us. So
yeah,
a lot.
Yeah, true. Okay, what about West Ham do you love?
Not so much at the moment, but going back to when we was at Upton Park, just the whole routine of it, really. A proper Saturday 3:00 kickoff, just where I was sitting, the fans, like in the corner. I sat like corner of the Dr. Martens stand. Just that buzz.
Was that Chav Corner? What they called Chav Corner?
Yeah, I was probably just off that, to be fair.
I was in there once. It was mental. Yeah,
I mean, we was probably just off, we was like right at the back, like we was right on the corner flag basically, but right at the back. And we had Di Canio sit behind us in the box a few times, and obviously that was great. But I mean, that's where we were, and I mean, just the buzz of it being so close, just the atmosphere there. Like, it weren't great sometimes, but when the atmosphere was good, it was unbeatable. Just like that Ipswich game. That Ipswich game in the playoff semi-final was the best I've ever witnessed.
And
was that the one where Matty Etherington hit that absolute screamer of a goal from
Yeah,
on the
and I
right
think
hand
it was
side of
where
the box.
yeah, and I think it was where Daly as well had a ball hit him in a gentleman's region, and then he poked bottom corner sort of game.
Okay, the flip of that then, Cameron. What about West Ham do you hate?
Bald, the match day experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What sound makes you happy?
The ball hit the back of the net when we go 1-0 up or something. I don't know. Probably just bubbles, really. I'd probably say above all that. Yeah. When that music goes silent, when it cuts out and everyone starts singing bubbles, that's when the hair stand.
Amazing.
I love that. Yeah.
When you said the ball hitting the net, you know what sound that I absolutely love is when the ball cracks the woodwork on the way in.
What, like that one at Old Trafford with Pye?
Pye at Old Trafford. Remember when it just cracked the underside of the bars that went in, or whatever it was, and it was just like, oh, beautiful.
Yeah, like if the ball like strikes the underside of the bar or something. But yeah, no, just having a bit of a think about it. Yeah, when the music goes off, when the teams are coming out and everyone's singing bubbles. Yeah, that'll probably be the best one.
Okay, this is everybody's favourite question. What is your favourite swear word?
Fuck. Yeah,
multi-purpose, isn't it?
Yeah, you can use it for a lot of things. Or yeah, I mean, I guess I'm allowed to say it, but yeah, bollocks. I mean, multi-purpose again. Like you could say that's a lot of bollocks, or you're talking about anything really. So yeah,
it's the utility player of swear words, isn't
it?
Yeah, it can have a nice meaning behind it. Like you could stub your toe and go, oh, bollocks, or you could be like, oh, it's so dimensional. So I think that's probably one that I'd use a lot.
Cool. What team do you love to beat?
Well, at the moment it's Spurs, but the last game we played against them was probably Millwall. So yeah, Millwall. So, but obviously because we don't play them as much, you probably have to say Spurs at the moment.
That's what people tend to say. I think United's up there quite high, and Chelsea as well.
Yeah,
I think Spurs is what most people say.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if we played Millwall a bit more often, it would 100% be them. I was there for when we beat them 2-1, and then in the league 3-1 in the cup. I mean, that was unbelievable. But in recent years,
I think when I did my quickfire round, I said Millwall. I'm a bit older. So a lot of the younger fans just haven't really seen us play them, so the edge has gone off it a little bit. But like I say, if we played them more often, they'd find out that our real kind of hated rivals are Millwall still. And I would absolutely detest losing to them.
Indeed.
Correct. I mean, I've seen us playing three times that I've been to and that I can actually remember. But yeah, I mean, like you said, the older generation know a lot more about it. So yeah.
Name a player, past or present day, that epitomises West Ham United.
Again, I haven't seen him play, but you've got to say Bobby Moore, really, haven't you? The only ever England captain to lift the World Cup whilst being a West Ham player. One of the greatest ones to ever do it. But in terms of what I've seen live, I'd probably say Di Canio, like a passionate man. Gets the fans, gets us out our seats, which is all we ask for, really, gives 100%. So, in terms of what I've seen above like a wider generation, I've got to say Di Canio.
I chose Billy Bonds purely for his grit and his bollocks.
I think I chose Billy as well. I think I chose Bonzo as well.
My dad probably would have said that, or Devonshire. So
yeah. I did like. I never saw him live. I don't think I did anyway. I might have done when I was really little, but I don't remember it. About Bobby Moore was the fact that, as well as being such a silky smooth quality player, he was an absolute gentleman. Everybody knows that, but he had a complete streak of toe rag running through him, didn't he? I mean, he could really sort of mess about with the best of them. And by all accounts, from what I've heard, the bloke liked to drink as well.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really heard a lot, but the only thing I have heard is when he went to pick the cup up and he went to shake the Queen's hand, he wiped his hands on his shorts
Yeah,
before he shook her hands, and
yeah,
again, that just shows what a classy man he
yeah,
really was.
yeah, indeed.
So yeah,
Okay, the last question.
And Pele said, sorry,
Sorry,
and
Tom, go
Pele
on.
said he was the best. And Pele said he was the best defender he ever faced.
Yeah,
yeah. So that's something, isn't it?
isn't it? Last question, Cameron. If you could take a time machine back to experience anything to do with West Ham, where would you go, or when would you go?
Well, I'd go now for sure, back to Upton Park. And if we was to pick a game, the best one, quickly, probably just purely off the top of my head, the last one at Upton Park. Not for the reasons that we left, but obviously the whole occasion was just such a great day in terms of like everyone just come together that little bit more. The colours, like honestly, so much claret and blue. The smokiness of the evening, like, I can still see it now. So yeah, that last game at Upton Park, like that 3-2 win, yeah, I'd probably go back to that.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people have said
That
that.
answer came up a lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
I believe I went with the '64 Cup final. I wanted to watch us win our first cup final.
I went back to 19. Oh God, I've forgotten when it was now. 20 something, I think, or 30 something. The White Horse final. Was that 23?
Oh yeah, against Bolton, was it?
Yeah.
23.
Yeah, I'd love to have
Yeah.
seen that. I bet that was mental.
I know.
Yeah, there was like a ridiculously big crowd in there, wasn't there?
Yeah.
At that game,
Yeah.
well over 100,000 people.
I know there'd be a few people who I know who are a bit older who would say the Cup Winners' Cup final, that they'd probably go back and watch that again. Or I know there's a few that...
Was it the Eintracht Frankfurt game? A few people said as well. The game against Eintracht was supposed to have been a brilliant game at Upton Park.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about that one. My dad speaks about that one a lot. And even though, not to say that we go back to it, but a lot of people who I know said that probably one of the best teams they've seen at Upton Park is when Dinamo Tbilisi come to play. A lot of people said that's probably one of the best teams I've ever seen at Upton Park. But yeah, again, I probably won't go back to that. But yeah, just while we're on the subject.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, there you are. You had us worried there for a minute. Right, well, it's probably a good time to...
Can't really hear you guys anymore.
Oh, really?
Audio's gone?
Uh-oh. Well, we're going to...
Maybe if you... Yeah. I don't know if you can post a message to him in the chats or something and just tell him to maybe pop out and back in. Maybe that'll get us back on track.
Oh, I think Tim's doing it. Damn.
Yeah, well, we were so close.
I was just about to say, should we end it there?
Get him, it would be unfortunate. I think we'll give it a minute because we should really thank him for joining us.
Yeah. Are you there, Cameron?
Can you hear us now, mate?
Yeah, so I got a call and then just the sound went, so I just thought...
Yeah, it happens. Well, all we were going to do was just wrap things up. We've been just over the hour, so...
So, sorry, just if I can, right before we go off, there was just one thing I wanted to ask you, Cameron, before we leave. And again, that is
I mean, I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I just got another call, so the sound has gone again. But I mean, I can't really hear you guys.
Pop your boy. All right, I think Tim's going to pop him back in again.
What about now? Right. Can you hear us now?
No audio? That's a shame. Keeps getting phone calls, I think.
Yeah.
Well, it's messing with the stream.
People are saying, Cameron, we see you on the YouTube.
Yeah, we can see him and hear him, but he can't hear us.
Yeah.
hopefully he'll be able to pop back in again, and we won't get any more phone calls. So we'll give him a second, I think.
What's going on? I think I'm getting a message from Tim. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, I think we're going to have to knock it on the head. I don't think he's going to come back in. Well, Cameron, if you are there and you are watching, thank you very much for joining us. It was an absolute insight into how things went with it all.
Yeah, we really appreciate it, Cameron. It was great to have you on and get your viewpoint on everything that's been going on with the club. So we really appreciate it for you giving us your time.
And a quick mention to everybody who's been in the chat this evening: KTK, Anthony Turan, Ian Grevitt, Tim Foshizi, Jazz has been there, KTK, Gary, loads of people in there.
Neil,
KTK, I think
Neil must be there. Neil's there every time, isn't he?
I haven't seen
Neil
him,
from Down Under.
I haven't
Has
seen
he
him.
not been in there?
No,
It's usually in there.
I think we even had a brief visit from Wayne Thurnall, Batman himself.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he popped up in the chat very briefly. We're blessed.
Me and Wayne aren't talking. He's always taking the piss out of my accent.
So yes, check out the website. It's got the links to the shops on there. And
only kidding, Wayne.
If you did enjoy this video, please click the banner down there somewhere, the little thumbs up thing, and like and subscribe. And one thing left to say, Tommy.
Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.